And those are your headlines.
Well, you know General McChrystal as somebody who's been characterized as a straight shooter, someone who tells it blunt and gets right to the point. That's why he got the position he got over in Afghanistan. In fact, many people thought that is why President Obama appointed him as the guy in charge and dismissed General McKiernan when it came to starting his own campaign when he took the White House office back in 2008. Now we find out incredible insight, insider stories, insider angles, and quotes from Rolling Stone magazine that show General McChrystal has hardly bonded with the president.
Yeah, that's a polite way of putting it. Rolling Stone has this article, it's called Runaway General, and in it, the writer Michael Hastings, who has worked for Newsweek in the past, describes McChrystal as a lone wolf on the outs with a lot of people in the White House. In particular, it talks about how he revealed to the writer, the general did, that he voted for Obama. And when he went to the Oval Office for the very first time to press for the surge in Afghanistan, he felt that the President of the United States completely unprepared for the meeting, and he was disillusioned and unhappy about it.
All right, and this just coming in now across the AP wire that apparently General McChrystal has been ordered home to the White House to answer questions about his comments in this article. So it appears that this story is just beginning. Here's my question, though, for America and the viewers today. Do you think that General McChrystal should apologize for making such comments? Because that's exactly what he did. He put out a statement last night after this article came to fruition, basically saying that, you know, it was he should never have said these honest feelings that he had. But when I read this article, I was thinking to myself, we kind of knew some of this. I mean, we knew that there was tensions between McChrystal and the president. We knew that McChrystal wanted the 40,000 troops in Afghanistan and that the president spent 6 months making that decision and ultimately gave him 30,000. Right. I mean, you knew that it wasn't smooth waters there, but is it the role of a general to keep their mouth shut?
Well, they've got to
if he's active, yes.
Well, let's also... Well, it's great insight. Number one, General McChrystal has a plan. He worked his way up. They give his background, how he got to where he is. Well, General Petraeus would be tight-lipped with a similar battle plan. General McChrystal would go in there and say, this is what needs to be done. He was commissioned by Defense Secretary Gates to come up with a battle plan, a way forward in Afghanistan. After all, this is President Obama's war that he wanted, that we needed to win. Yep. He came up with a plan. He gave it to the president. No one read it. No one was getting back to him. So he went public with it and said, listen, this is my plan. He said those 3 months when he waited, it was so frustrating and angering towards him. What he meant to when he was with the president. So the president picked me. Couldn't wait to meet him.
Sure.
When I actually met him for 10 minutes, he knew nothing about me. Right. It was a glorified photo op.
Sure.
He really didn't talk to him anything significant about the war. General McChrystal may be comparing it to a previous administration where they knew in detail about the war, the Secretary of Defense and the President of the United States, where he was somebody that many people thought was almost a PR person for President Bush because he seemed to be on the same page with that war effort. But he details his relationship with Ambassador Eikenberry in Afghanistan. Remember, they're about to put this war plan together, and Ambassador Eikenberry, a 3-star general, comes out and says, oh, by the way, Karzai, not a good partner. This relationship with Kabul and the rest of the country, not a good relationship. McChrystal's sitting there saying, you kidding me? We're about to upgrade the war. I'm asking for 40,000 more troops. What are you doing? They give details, the relationship. Eikenberry used to be in charge of McChrystal, having a hard time taking orders from a guy
he
was
betrayed by... Eikenberry betrayed him, he felt. However, you mentioned the Secretary of Defense, who McChrystal refers to as Yoda. He always had his back. Hillary Clinton always had Stanley McChrystal's back. Joe Biden? No, absolutely not. He felt like he did not get any support from Joe Biden. It's interesting, there's a quote in there where it said that McChrystal sees control...
Don't read all the quotes about Biden, you'll get in trouble.
It's graphic in parts. McChrystal sees control of the war by, quote, never taking his eye off the real enemy, the wimps in the White House. Maybe that's why he was ordered back.
It could be. He says, of course, that Robert Gates, the Defense Secretary, and the Secretary of State, Hillary Clinton, supported him. Again, I feel like we knew this. I feel like we knew that when they had that all-important meeting in there, that Vice President Biden and President Obama were a little bit more on the fence, and that Clinton and Gates were more hawkish, and that they were more in line to support this 40,000 troop request. So I guess, for me, it's not necessarily new information about how all the politics hung together. Actually, what I was most surprised about is that McChrystal voted for Obama. to be honest with you.
Well,
I think it's actually that some of these quotes, like calling them wimps, is what's going to get him in trouble. The actual information, probably not that new.
Well, what's going to happen is you got to wonder what Rolling Stone did to win over the general's confidence, because this reporter is certainly not somebody with a track record. As you look into his background, that would lead one to believe that General McChrystal could really open up and feel secure that a lot of these maybe off-the-record comments wouldn't come forward. One description of Vice President Biden's plan, when they said, hey, what about Vice President Biden's plan to win the war in Afghanistan? He goes, yeah, you mean the one-way ticket to chaos stand? So essentially, when he goes to the White House, he's not happy with the preparation that they have for the war that he's got to fight. Now, some of the soldiers are not pleased, evidently, by the rules of engagement. We've heard that they want to go and be more aggressive.
Proactive.
And it's General Petraeus and General McChrystal are like, listen, we got to win these people over first, but it's costing American lives in some cases.
So he's being ordered home now. This will be a tough call for the Obama administration. I mean, you're going to get rid of the guy who's in charge of everything? Stay tuned. In the meantime,